Thought I was unmuted. Sorry. I'm sleeping. Good morning. Hi. How are you guys?
Good morning. I think I'm sick this morning. I had like the worst cough yesterday and today, and my daughter also sick. So I'm scrambling to make the meeting minutes happen right now.
How old's your daughter?
The one that is sick, I have two. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. But yeah, the one who is sick is the young one.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Yeah.
The truth about kids is when they're sick, you're sick too. Even if you aren't, you still are sick.
So, Tom, I'm trying to get into the admin panel production. Oh no, this is the dev version. Oops. You know what? Never mind. I think I know what I did wrong. Maybe I don't. Where? Admin, there it is. Admin.getbcard.io. This must be it. No, this is the dev build server. Admin prod password. Oh, here it is. Where is this? I'll double check the that work? Update password. All right. I think I got it. I think I got in.
We're overly credentialed right now.
Yeah, it's or I mean it's a new system. It kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. New procedures.
But the old admin panel showed like -1s across the board. So I'm assuming it's now officially retired.
Oh, on production? Yeah, maybe. I didn't actually go ahead and update that, so I'd have to take a peek. I thought maybe it would still have that fallback, but it may need some loving.
Was the data different? Did you change the database?
No, I didn't change at all. I just those calls that were doing the get usage calculations had a bit of an authentication change. It should have been set up to work with both, but maybe it's not happy for some reason. I gotta take a peek at it.
Honestly, like maintaining two things is harder than maintaining one. So maybe we should just like if something's not working in the new one, just make it work in the new one.
Yeah, I'm on board with that as well too. Let's focus on the new one, and at least the one is getting data that is reasonably what we were looking for to see.
Good morning, Richard.
GM. I just voted one place on my IRL events thing.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't vote with all of my wallets yet because I have a bunch of test wallets that I used to.
I've got I haven't done it on the mobile one though.
Did you use the BCard app or did you use
No, I went into Snapshot with my like I guess it would be like the contributor wallet.
Nice.
For address.
Yeah, I have most of my Black Flag tokens going to my EOA, and I think I need to move them over to my contributor wallet. So I'll probably do that at some point before the next.
But yeah, then I still have my embedded wallet to vote with.
Yeah, the one thing is that like my other wallet has an ENS attached to it, so you can kind of see who's voting, which is like good and bad, right? So depends what you want. Yeah, we had most events so far, although a bunch of them are done by two people. So I was thinking, like, sorry, 2 events by one person, right? Like I did 2 events, Michelle did 2 events, and Rainis did 2 events. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe that's okay for now. But if we start having like 10 events, then maybe we should just do it like 1 per person.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So I guess so. I kind of changed. Well, I was not really putting too much into the criteria just for posting before. But what I did this time was I gave 1 point for picks and a point if it was picks on, or if it was posted on Farcaster. So like more weight on the Farcaster posting.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I like about like the idea of like voting is that you can come up with your own criteria. It works at a certain scale, and then past that, I feel like it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe it depends on what you're voting for. Well, anyways, that's kind of what we're here to figure out in some ways, is when it's useful, when it's not. Because like I was also thinking to myself, my wife was talking about she wanted to start like a supper club, and she wanted people to potentially like vote on which restaurant they go to. And I was like, oh, maybe we could set something up. And I was just like, wow, there's no way she's going to use Snapshot to do this. and so I was just like, oh, yeah, like for those like kind of lower stakes votes with only like a couple people, Snapshot's not actually the best solution for that. Snapshot's really great for auditability and like and also like consuming like tokens and stuff like that. But if you just want like a simple, hey, there's four of us and I want to like take a little vote, it's actually like not a great way to do it. So I was like, thinking about like how we could do that in a headless way, like not have, because you still need some sort of central data for that. Anyways, yeah, something to think about in terms of what voting is good for and what it's not good for. All right, I'll share my screen. What do we got here? Here we go. All right, GM one and all. It's our weekly all team tactical. You're gonna have to bear with me. My voice is a little bit sore, a little bit sick today, so I may pause to cough and have my tea, but I got my tea prepared here, so hopefully it won't be too noticeable. We're going to use this time to sync up on work going on around the B Foundation, eliminate blockers, and prioritize our work. Just FYI, the call is recorded and clips of participants you may be shared on social media, so let me know if that's not interesting to you. What we do, we're here to help purpose-driven communities use Web3 tooling to generate revenue and engagement. And what are we trying to achieve? Well, we're trying to do transaction volume right now. Didn't get a chance to change these metrics. I do think that there's more to this than we have. And actually, Richard, Tom, and I talked about it at our ops meet on Friday last week. I do think that there are other things that we can do on this front. And we do have some data to hopefully support that. But we shall see as we move on. On the weekly transacting user side, let me just pop up this new admin panel we had. Oh, it doesn't say how many spending users we have here. So that's on the admin panel, Tom. So that's one thing to note. And new users, I do not like Notion AI. And so new users, we had 3 new users. And I think, Tom, you had mentioned in DM that that the new users seem a little bit suspicious.
Well, there was just the one that there was a card created last week that had some activity that I thought looked a little bit unusual, but maybe it isn't, maybe it is. It's really doesn't look like dangerously fraudulent, but it just seemed like for a new user that we weren't aware of, like some large initial deposits and some transaction attempts. So maybe just something to keep an eye on. But yeah, three creates is that's a lot in our recent history for sure.
Yeah, well, we haven't really been doing any communication around BCard right now, so yeah, we're also trying to reduce our work on this and so that we can kind of work on more top of funnel stuff, but something to take a peek at. I'll try to take a peek when I can. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, I was just going to say that I mean, like when we had the incident in the past, like Transcard should have stuff in place to kind of monitor things like that, or things like this as well. Or
yeah, I kind of am in agreement as well. It's just whether or not we think it's worthy of surfacing to their attention or not.
Right.
And
right,
obviously, we don't want to scare. We don't want to like inadvertently raise an issue with Transcard that it may not be one. So.
yeah, but I mean, I guess what I'm kind of thinking is that it shouldn't solely be our since we have the vendor, although I mean, well, I mean we have the vendor, and the vendor should have expertise in monitoring this kind of stuff, and they have all the info, or they're getting information on it. So
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like a casual glance at the incoming transactions and
Mhm.
noticing something is really like that's our level of responsibility. I don't think that we're due to track and like, make sure all of the transactions are legit or whatever. You're right. It's outside of our scope.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
but I think, yeah, if there's like a spike or a trend, then maybe it's would be worth just checking them like, hey, are you guys aware of this? But
Yeah, sounds good. I will, yeah, so we'll keep an eye on it and we shall see as we go. Another piece of feedback on this, Tom, I guess like it would be nice if we had a little bit more transaction log, like maybe if it was like paged, I could see a couple more pages if I needed to.
Yeah, there's a lot of
On the admin
things that
panel.
there's a lot of things that we can add in terms of making this better. The 10 transactions is just supposed to give us that quick glance look. And then I think ideally it'll be a drill down to a user admin to see more transactions. So then if we're trying to target a specific user, then we can see their active history as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I certainly thought about adding more, but I wanted to keep it minimally in the transition from the old one right now. The old one was just doing 10, so this one's just does 10.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Okay, so that's it for our lag and lead metrics. Again, I mean, there's only us here. We may as well kind of like do like a quick thing about what we discussed on Friday. So basically, Tom, Richard, and I had discussed like, okay, what are some of the other metrics that we could be looking at on this front? And lag metrics, in case you don't know, this is what we're actually trying to achieve, but it's kind of hard to just kind of aim for that directly. Typically, you have something called lead metrics, which you say, hey, if we move the needle on these metrics, the idea is that the lag metric will go up. So, for instance, if you want to lose weight, one of your lead metrics could be how many calories you're consuming, or one of your lead metrics could be how many minutes of exercise you're getting. And so the idea is more exercise, less calories means that you will lose weight. And so that's the idea behind these lag and lead metrics. And because we're kind of in a transition where we're moving our work more over to some of these top of funnel things, trying to get the pages to a point where we can really start iterating on these different little widgets. We started talking about like, okay, well, what kinds of metrics would be interesting there? And we started to talk about like things like, oh, how many people are deposited into the pool, how many people are engaged in that, like they're voting. And so like, since we're trying to create revenue and engagement, if information is going into the pool, if money's going into the pool, that creates revenue, and if people are voting, that is engagement. But then we also talked about even the things that we're doing on our Discord, which is not super on chain yet, but we are kind of like posting in, excuse me, in what did you ship? That's all engagement too. So these kinds of metrics, when we send out these black flag tokens, and then we send out these black flag tokens to people who have contributed, and then I kind of post on social media often, hey, here are the top contributors to Black Flag. Those are also metrics, right? These are also engagement metrics. Anyways, these are maybe the kinds of things that we should be making, that we should be showing here, and B, we should be showing on the Black Flag website. And these kinds of engagement metrics, I think one of the things that's key is that a lot of people in the Web3 space, they count things like retweets and likes and stuff as engagement, which is the social media metric. But for a community, that's really a proxy metric for this other thing that we are already counting, which is how many people are doing work for BCard's purpose on a weekly basis, and how much work are they doing, right? And so we're already tracking these metrics, so we don't need those proxy metrics. So long story short, these are exactly the kinds of little widgets and things we want to put into blackflagcollective.org. And the hope is if we put it there and we build it in a way that can easily be utilized by other communities, then we can kind of make these metrics available to other communities as well. So they don't have to do those kinds of proxy metrics either. They can use these kind of more direct metrics. Anyways, just wanted to give an overview of what we discussed. Is that accurate, Richard and Tom? Does that make sense?
Yep, that sounds right to me.
All right. Does that make sense to you too, Phil?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Okay. team-wide announcements. And yeah, you'll have to, again, forgive me for the meeting notes. I was taking care of my sick kid before I came up, but I don't think it's a terrible thing for you guys to see me constructing the meeting notes as we're going through the meeting. So don't forget to use what did you ship when you do something for BCard. I noticed that you did that today, Phil, so I really appreciate that. Or not today, the other day, to put the work that you did. Tom, Drost, and Richard also did work for BCard last week. So all that stuff's in the What Did You Ship channel, and we will go through there in a couple minutes. In the meantime, so we're trying to look at our milestone perspective. So on the support side, well, we actually had Phil handle a bug for us. Phil, do you want to give an update on that?
Sure. So it was pretty simple issue with the drop-down list for statements where you have to select the month and year that you want the statement to be generated. And there was only the months in there, so it was always selecting the last month. It couldn't select the right month and year. So I added the year in there and I fixed a few things around that, and it should work now. So I'm not sure how I guess we can answer on the Discord and tell the user to try again or announce that it's fixed for them. And
so I
see if it
didn't
works.
push it to prod yet, but I'll do that today.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, it's Richard.
First step.
Yeah, so it's Richard here who had the issue. So once it goes to prod, Richard, maybe you can test it.
Okay.
But I did test it on staging,
Great.
and it seems to work on staging.
Okay, I'll check that.
And RFSD will test. All right, awesome. Thanks for that. Did we have any? Yeah, and so I think you said next step. You said that you were going to take on, what was the next task? I can't remember.
Yeah, the bug that you can vote for a poll before it's actually opened. I think there's an opening date, and then people are allowed to click vote, and it wouldn't do an error. So I'll try to put the F in the right place to stop that.
Nice. All right, thanks for that, Phil. And I think next up, what else? Updates to the backend and admin dashboard. Updates to backend and admin dashboard. How are you doing on this, Tom?
So far, so good. Production push looks good. Data seems to be coming in okay. And yeah, I think that obviously we've got a few bits of more data that we want to get a look at. So I'm going to look at adding those in this week, along with the new backend prawn investigation that we wanted to do in relation to inactivity fees.
Awesome. All right. And so that's for automated emails for inactive users. All right. Thanks for that. 10 users a week, community pages. All right. So community pages, I did, let's say, merge the fixes or let's say the updates around mobile design with Tom's pool together deposit branch, but I am getting a ton of exceptions intermittently. Yeah, and so it's really a weird issue. And I talked to Tom about it yesterday. He said he wasn't getting these issues. He wasn't getting these exceptions. So I spent most of yesterday chasing my tail on trying to hunt down what some of these exceptions were. I may go back to your original branch, Tom, because I just kind of your original commit, Tom, because I made so many changes trying to track this down, and then I committed them thinking I had figured it out, and then maybe that's not the case. Anyways, I'm going to look at it with a fresh set of eyes. I don't know if I'll get a chance today, but hopefully sometime this week. And next steps, we'll aim to get the deposit widget to prod. So that's really what I'm aiming to do right now. And on the in-app voting and endowment fund, I got the vote for October events out, shared on socials. We'll aim to share a bunch more in the next week or so. Yeah, and so that's where we're at for the October events, for the in-app voting and the endowment fund. Yeah, and then working on our own community writing a blog post on our own system. How's this working, Richard? You're muted.
Yeah, I had stepped away to grab some coffee too, but no, so I guess still no progress on that.
Okay.
I can say that I
And
was thinking about it, but a bit more than
well,
I did the
I
week
think like
before. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I think updating our community metrics is also something we talked about, and maybe that's something that like we can do manually for now. But like we have the data in splits, and so I'm just wondering if we can like. I'm not sure what the next steps for this are. I mean, like ultimately, what I would love to do is make this available on blackflagcollective.org, but I'm kind of blocked on something else right now. So maybe you can work with Phil or Tom to get these metrics out, but I guess we shall see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the best way is yet, but yeah, we'll talk about it on Friday for sure. But yeah, if you feel like you have some inspiration and you want to move ahead again, you don't have to wait for me. You can just go for it. All right. So in our inbox, we have automated monthly statement email. We're kind of waiting on some of the things that Tom is doing to get that going. And then in our this week community pages milestone 1, the last thing for me to do is get the endowment fund, the deposit and withdraw widget. I noticed that when I have another React widget on this sidebar, it doesn't have the same bug as it had before. Anyways, all this means that it's probably something to do with React caching. I still want to understand what this is, but if there's multiple widgets, then it's not a bug. I feel like that's okay. So I'm going to continue working on that, and that's my top priority. Admin dashboard refactor. We talked about this already, Tom. But essentially, you are pulling in additional data, looking into using cron for automated emails. Does that sum it up?
Yep. Those are the keys, I think, right now to sort of just flesh out the rest of that usage data, make those queries a little bit more efficient, I think, for the admin side. And then, yeah, the cron job so that we can have a view in on what's going on with people's usage.
And I just wrote down here that I'm requesting spending users per week in this additional data.
Yeah, sounds good. I think it just currently is doing any active users. So
Yep.
that includes creates and loads. So yeah, we'll get that separated.
Sweet. All right. Inactivity fee features. So NFThink, I know you can't talk, but essentially Tom, as part of the admin dashboard refactor, he's going to look into how we can automate that email. So that's kind of the next step on this. Snapshot didn't work for users. I'm going to assign this one to you, Phil, because you said you're going to check it out. I have not seen Sprinkles in a couple of weeks, and so I think she did have some health issues at some point. So I don't know. I'm gonna follow up with her just to make sure she's okay. But in the meantime, you can feel free to take this on, and there is a link to the Discord, which kind of describes the issue.
I'm good.
All right. Thanks a lot, Phil. User can't see the full source of funds. I'll leave this open for her. Black Flag Endowment Fund. I'm going to take this on a little bit more after I'm going to clean this up a little bit more after I look at the community pages milestone 1. We have submitted our 2025 taxes. How's this going?
Well, I guess it's a little premature for submitting, but so one thing I think we should talk about on Fridays, because so I need to get I've used the extracts from the new dashboard in production, but I just need to check that in testing, but I need to just check it in production. And if I have any issues, maybe we can talk about it on Friday.
Sounds good. All right. And then using tokens to increase contribution. So this is the article that we talked about in progress there. All right. Anything else that we're working on that's not on this list? One of the things I did get we kind of discussed terminal and burner. I did get finally got a connection to the founders. So I'm going to be trying to set up a meeting with them next week. They're in Dev Connect this week, but hopefully next week
Nice.
I'll pull something. Yeah. I guess like what I really wanted I don't really have like, I don't have like an idea, right? Like what, I guess like, what's the best way for me to put this? I see some affinity between what we're building and what they're building. I'm not sure what the path is to integrate some of their tech, but I think it would be potentially very useful to communities. Anyone else think about this recently?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I'm not sure what the first use case for it would be or how to like integrate it immediately, but I think the first conversation will probably be about that and see what the overlap is and how it could work for us. And maybe they have other, other clients who are using it in a similar way where they can feed us ideas or kind of show us how other people are using it or how they are thinking about using it. So I think it's going to be a really great conversation, even if we don't have an exact plan or way to
Yeah.
use it. So
And
yeah.
I could invite them to this space too, like if more people want to talk about it than just me. So is that something you guys are interested in?
Yeah, we can certainly talk to them for sure. I think that considering their offering is something that we could extend as an offering to our own users, right? Like they could see the synergy and just like they offer branded cards, like maybe as an adjunct to our, payment card, the B card, we have, Ethereum B cards, and, other
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bitcoin B cards or whatever that just are like leveraged as tag along products or something that communities can brand themselves using their sort of the tools to do those designs.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Like Terminal is using pay. I mean, I'm assuming they're using Paymaster, but basically users don't have to pay for transaction fees, so like no gas fees essentially. I mean, this is an issue I came up on recently. Like I'm using my embedded wallet, and I didn't have the gas fee to deposit the $1 that I had in my embedded wallet to from one thing to another. Anyways, all this to say that it reduces the friction even more on that front, right? And I know it's sponsored gas, whatever, and we could do the same thing on our end, but yeah, I don't know, something to think about. Sorry, I'm thinking about this instead of continuing moving the meeting forward. So, if you guys want to, if you guys come up with any ideas, throw it just into the team chat, and I'll try to
Okay.
book with them next week, and we'll see.
Sound good.
All right. What did we ship last week? Okay, so I didn't do this before, and so I should do it right now. What did you ship? We'll get the stuff in here. So Tom spent 30 minutes enhancing admin transaction processing to handle, create, and activate events on prod data. Tom, I don't like how it did that. Well, anyways, I just want it to be a proper bullet. Bullet. That work? Kind of. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So that's 500 BCard. And I prepped and held this week's all hands, which is 2K BCard links. This is the downside of using Discord for this, is that it doesn't do it in a nice, easily copy and pasteable way. So Richard entered contributor awards for week 46 into splits, which is 250 BCard. All right. I set up a Black Flag in real life event, posted on socials, updated vote weights on Snapshot. I added the October vote and handles Snapshot support. So they did fix Wallet Connect after I talked to them about it. So that's nice. Oh, you know what? Actually, this is totally an aside. Someone shared with me that someone is building an alternative to Wallet Connect, which is more decentralized. Just something to note for I don't know if Phil and Tom you care at all about the level of decentralization of Wallet Connect, but I thought it's pretty cool. I can send it to you a little bit later on the team chat if you like.
Sure.
I never really
Oh,
considered Wallet to be too corporate an entity, but maybe they are these days.
yeah, they're VC funded, and not only are they VC funded, but they're also like all of the things, like all of the transactions that you run using Wallet Connect goes through their server and they log it.
Really?
Yeah.
Ouch.
All right. So Tom made updates to server software, updates to prod server environment, push a production server, testing for production, testing admin data, and improving the TX card load. So that's 20, 60, 40, 2 hours, and 2 hours and 35 minutes. So 2:35, which translates to, I mean, that's essentially 2,500 and one. Well, let's just do it like that. 25. There. I'm not going to do the math. So I reviewed Phil's code, handled some comms with the event host as well, and that was 30 minutes. That's 500 BCard. And then Drost prepped and shared November 12th all hands, and so that was Drost. Oop. No, I don't want that. That was 2 hours, and I still need to share that actually. Onboard fork branch, NPM audit, and local access vault 1 hour. So this is something Bill handled for 1 hour. And so this is, oops, I forgot to do this, 2K BCard. And this is 1K BCard. Okay, so Phil, you're the first new contributor we've had since we started talking about using embedded rewards. So since we've had this Black Flag Collective site out and we wanted to start having this new flow.
Okay.
So what I would love for you to do is log in on blackflagcollective.org.
Sure.
And it's going to ask you for your email. It's going to create a wallet for you. And we're going to send you the Black Flag rewards there. And then you'll be able to vote on our active votes. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I'll do that in the next few minutes.
Sweet. And then Richard, you and I need to figure out, okay, now that we have this kind of setup going on, how are you going to get that wallet address that gets created? So you and I need to figure this out, Richard, because that's kind of part of the flow. Ultimately, what we'd really want, I think, is an admin panel that when someone logs in or becomes a member, the community owner or whatever has an admin panel where they can see the email address and the wallet address that is created. But yeah, that's not going to happen for this particular moment right now, but that's the intent in the future.
Okay, yeah, so I actually did see Phil's contribution, and I was wondering about this stuff myself. So I think we're making progress here, and then so I think admin panel, and then the next step on that would be like maybe that's something that we want to track somewhere too for stats.
Exactly. Well, we want to say how many members are here, and
right.
yeah. So that's right now. It's yeah. This is something we also need to discuss from a technical perspective because we would prefer it to be headless. And I guess like using Privy is okay for now, but do we actually have access to that metric via their API? That's something that we want to see. And also for a bunch of different communities, we want to make sure that, like right now, I think I'm using like the BCard prod. Yeah. And yeah. Anyways, it's something to talk about from a technical perspective too, because we may need to change it up how it goes. Anyways, we will talk about it as we go forward. And Phil, I know that you put the Tuesday meeting in your calendar. We also have Friday meetings that, I mean, typically it's kind of like a quote unquote ops meeting. So it's typically me and Richard, and sometimes Tom pops in when we need like technical feedback. But yeah, they're basically Tuesdays, Fridays are when we're doing these like kind of more working meetings. And today is kind of like our community call, we can call it. So it's, it's up to you if you want to come, feel free, you're welcome. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to make it on Tuesday and I'll see if if Friday makes sense.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Statement date bug, use month year as a drop-down value, date FNS, parse value on change and fix recent card case, 2 hours, that's 2K BCard, and rebase the staging and test for default date bug. That's 30 minutes. So that's 500 BCard. And I should put what I did yesterday. Links spent some time merging Tom's pool together, deposit widget into the new mobile website. That was 3 hours. BCard. All right. Okay, great. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip of tea here. So I don't have a discussion topic that's great, but I did have one that came to mind that I kind of wanted to discuss. We could also discuss what we could do with terminal, but we did discuss it like last week a little bit. So let me just quickly pop open this Farcaster post, which I thought was really interesting. And it's a Farcaster post, which is a link to a Twitter post. So yeah, I'll put it up on the screen here. All right. So, here is if you, in case you guys don't know, Jeff Goldberg, he's someone who does like a lot of data analysis on Farcaster, but also like any kind of on-chain data analysis. So he's been doing a lot of that. And in case you don't know, David Phelps, he is the founder of JokeRace. And so he is in Dev Connect right now, and basically he's saying that a lot of founders has heard regret from building on Base. And so one of the issues is that they are not really supporting founders in the way that they are expecting to be supported. I guess like lots of other chains, if you've been in the space, they basically have grant programs, they give out money, they give out distribution. Whereas on Base, it's more about like most of the Base teams talking about content coins, and they're not necessarily talking about individual products. They typically talk about Zora, but they don't really talk about things like Farcade, or I think it's called like, what is it called now? Matrix? I can't remember. There's a bunch of products being built on Base, and they don't discuss those products, at least not publicly, and they don't give that much money for those products, not in the same way that other chains do. And so that's one of the things that they feel like they're not getting support. Another thing that they said is that users are dropping, and his argument here is that it's the same thing that happened to Solana a year and a half, 2 years ago, that chains are promising distribution and they're not actually creating distribution. Some people have this kind of idea that it should be apps that are providing distribution and chains are just infrastructure. And so he even says here, you can blame the entire space for only incubating a user base of farmers and wash traders that are useless to any product for real people. I think the real issue is that chains don't really understand their own role. They spend all day talking about performance and economic. The only major differentiator is distribution. And so I think, and so he ends this by saying, even so, Base is obviously going to remain one of the best places to deploy. It has network effects, backing of top American crypto company, and stablecoin distribution. It's not going anywhere. The reason I wanted to discuss this is I do think that it's really relevant to us here in the Beef Foundation. You know, our stated goals in our founding documents is to bridge the UX gap between Web3 and the real world. And building on Base is like saying building on AWS. No one cares what your cloud platform is. All they care about is what you're going to be doing for them. What can you enable them to do that they couldn't do before? No one puts on their homepage, hey, we are building on Google Cloud Platform. That is not a user benefit. And I just want to discuss that. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Anyone have any thoughts on this?
I think that all sounds great. I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead. That's fine. I was going to say I have nothing clear, so go for it.
People don't care that where you're building, so long as you're giving them something that is interesting to them, that is adds value to their process or whatever. Being an app developer or whatever for the last number of years or whatever, getting people to try to see the value of investing in an app to modernize and standardize their workflow or whatever. People they don't care like what's going to happen, but when you show them like an example, a prototype of something that's actually delivering tangible, like real world actionable things to them, then they see it's a clear value benefit for them. And so it's kind of like the value benefit is the sales feature as opposed to the transitory nature of whatever the tech is.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the chain eventually is not a differentiator. Except like I've used a one chain recently where I forget the name. It's a really cute and fun name, and I bridged to it, and then it was completely different because you would log in with, I think, an email or maybe another SOA, and then your private key was totally embedded in the platform, and then you could transact without paying gas, and it was the UI UX experience was completely different. It was a lot closer to Web 2. I'm
Yeah.
trying to Google it to find out. I'm sure you guys know a few chains that do that. And
No, I remember seeing this chain semi recently, but I haven't used it yet. I would love to. I mean, if you remember the chain, I'd love
yeah,
to
yeah,
note it down.
I'll find it. It's in my other browser history. And it was great. It was really kind of gamified, and it was really welcoming. You'd log in and things just worked. You could actually just click on buttons in the browser, and you would, confirm transactions, and it would just do things without having you to confirm on MetaMask and do the whole like signing process. So that was very refreshing. And I totally understand that like security is not the same, and that you don't have the same contractual or non-contractual, but you don't have the same decentralization and everything. But from a user's perspective, if you're going to do things that are a little more trivial, it's a great UI UX, and I think that's where there's a lot of value to be gained there. And then what happens behind the scene, it's base, it's Verachain. People don't care in the end. They just want to communicate or transact or do whatever they want to. They want to use the app and as
Yeah, they
quickly
want
as
to
seamlessly as possible.
do the thing, right? Like decentralization is not a user benefit to most users, right? Like it is what it can enable. And I think that that's what we really, I mean, it's something that the industry totally doesn't get because that chain, when it came out, and I remember it came out on Twitter and it was like people were basically like shitting on it because they said like it wasn't as good. You know, it harkens back to that when the first iPod came out and someone on Slashdot, I think it was like one of the founders of Slashdot even was just like, oh, you know, it doesn't have a screen. It only has this, like, it doesn't have an upgradable, it doesn't have an upgradable hard drive. Lame, right? Like, basically, totally dismissing it, not understanding what the user value for that thing was. That it worked by itself. It worked very easily all by itself. It was like a vertically integrated device that you could put all of your songs into, and it didn't matter that it was technically inferior to some of the other solutions. It didn't matter that it could do less things. It didn't matter that it had less memory. All that mattered was that it was easy to use. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's really important. It's something for us to remember here, because if we don't remember, I mean, that's the whole reason we're here is because we found blockchain to not be very easy to use, and we came together because we wanted to make it easier to use. It is the raison d'etre of BCard.
I appreciate the front.
Well, I mean, I'm a former Montrealese, and I don't think there's a better way than to say it.
I think we should do a meeting in French one day just for fun.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can do it right now, Tom, if you're ready. I don't know if Richard
Juste
will be
une
ready
minute
enough.
français, nous parlons cette journée. Non, pas pour tout. Pas tout.
Did you get that, Richard? Were you? Maybe not. Maybe he's getting more
Most of my
coffee.
kids are in French immersion, so I get a little bit of exposure these days, but very little compared to any that I used to practice in school. So.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that tweet up that because I do think that like even now, I mean, so like I'll be honest, like I don't think that commentary really captures it even really. Like he's also expecting the chain to big distribution, but it's because he's locked into this UI UX. I mean, if you go to Joke Race, like there's a connect wallet button, right? Joke Race, whatever. Like it's basically like honestly, the UI UX with this. If you've ever used Joke Race, I'm not a huge fan of it, but yeah, like all of this connect wallet connection stuff, like it immediately reduces the value for most users. And if you use the actual app itself, basically when you have to put money in, to vote, and half the money goes to him and half the money goes to the community, but the winning community. It's just like none of the incentives are aligned for a normal person. As a normal person coming into this, you could say, well, why wouldn't I just donate to the community? Like, why am I going through all these steps to donate 25 cents to the community and also give you 25 cents? Why don't I just give 50 cents to the actual community? Right? Like, that's the first question I had. And it's really, if you say that on Twitter, people will just be like, you just don't get it. You don't understand the idea of consensus, and you don't understand the idea of decentralization and all these kinds of things. But no, they're valid questions. This industry just hasn't gotten around to understanding how the tech can really connect with people. And I'm not saying that we have that yet either, but the entire point of what we're building with B Pages is to create an environment where we can experiment with that. And so that's what Tom did with his little deposit widget, making it a little easier. And I'm sorry, I'm just terrible at merging, which is why I wasn't able to make it work properly.
Don't
but
apologize. We're all learning here. Sometimes they merge well. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finesse. It's definitely nothing to apologize.
And if you feel inspired to do something as well, Phil, feel free to start working on a little widget for B Pages as well. If you pull off the main, you can create something. If you see something that you want to make easier, it's completely possible for us to start utilizing it, because
sounds good.
We want to make things easier, right? And I think that there's a bunch of little things that we can do to make stuff easier. Any other questions or comments on this? All right, I think I need to give my voice a bit of a rest. I think it's I've exhausted my tea, and I'm starting to feel the coughing coming up. Hey, Richard, I see you unmuted. Did you have something to say?
No, I was just getting ready for the wrap up or what.
Okay, yeah. So remember why we're here is I guess like the wrap is really, we're trying to make this technology useful. We are trying to make this technology usable, and in doing so, we may run into issues where we're not doing things in the kind of purity that some people might say, but that's okay, because if we can really connect this technology by building something useful and usable for people, then the purity doesn't matter as much. I still feel very strongly in the principles of Ethereum and the principles of like the cypherpunk ideals that kind of brought it to the fore. But those principles are not worth the paper that they are printed on if people aren't using them, right? And so the intent with BCard is to bring those to the masses. And we can only do that by bridging the gap, by going to where they are. We can't expect them to come to where we are. So I just want to thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, the first time somebody downloads an app from the App Store or whatever, and it's using, Ethereum or Base in the back end or whatever, and they don't know about it, but it does something amazing for them. You get a new user, and they don't even know it, that they joined the crypto community. So it's maybe that's what we should be aiming towards.
Yeah, and I have a couple of ideas about that too, and I actually think that Anyways, I have a ton of little mini app ideas. I should probably just make little wireframes for them so that they're kind of shovel ready if people ever feel like doing them. But for now, I'll just say thank you to all of you for being here. I really appreciate it. It gives me heart to keep moving forward when we're all working together. If you want to go far, go together. And that's really something that I appreciate that we have here. So thanks, everyone.
Great. Sounds good. I found the name of the chain. Abstract chains. ABS.xyz. That's what I tried.
Oh yeah. Now this is exactly it. Yeah, this is.
That was really fun onboarding on this.
Cool.
So I think the sad future of blockchain is it will be TCP/IP. Nobody will know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Full circle.
That's not a bad thing, right? Yeah, that's a good thing actually. If we had payments integrated into all of our stuff. Anyways, thanks everyone. Appreciate it.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.
Everybody.
Yep. Thanks. Bye.